The ball's in your fucking court. No more fucking around. You want your life to be better? I can't help you. Lee can't help you. Joe Rogan can't help you. Ari can't help you. God can't fucking help you. Only you can fucking help you. Grab your fucking balls, get a fucking notebook, and write down what the fuck you're gonna do this year. And this is it. You're not gonna have these problems. Fuck the drugs. Fuck the cigarettes. Fuck that dumb bitch. It all starts fucking today, all right? No more fucking excuses.
You're not even motivated yourself. Like, I want to wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go, come on, man, we're going running. Like, I want to see what you do when you're tired. Let me see how you push yourself. Come on, man, get up again tomorrow. Get up again tomorrow. Get up again tomorrow. The next day, get up. Keep going. How long can you maintain a positive attitude? Where's all this teaching? You're teaching people. You can't do shit yourself.
Turn your feelings off when it comes down to you wanting to be better. What that means is when that alarm clock goes off, your feelings got to go away. If you want to achieve greatness. And greatness is only achieved when your feelings about that kind of shit. And let me say, that kind of shit. So for those soft people who may be listening to this, don't put words in my mouth. I'm not talking about your fucking family and all that shit. I'm talking about the grind. The fucking grind.
It is so easy to beat people today. They are so soft. They have no work ethic. No one can stick with anything. Everyone's distracted. They're on social media. They're counting their fucking notifications because they can't stick with shit. They can't say no.
Motivation is crap. People right now, they be listening to this shit. They be motivated to go run. If it's cold somewhere where they're at, a lot of them shut that door, go back inside. That's motivation. It comes and go as how you feel. If you and your wife are good, if you and your kids are good, if you're good at work, you're motivated. I like a motherfucker whose life is imploded, ain't got shit in life, and says, I still gotta get after it today, man.
If you have to ask, it don't matter how much it feel like it ain't gonna work.
Delusional.
Complete delusion. You gotta believe the delusion. Because it's only delusional until it works. So is it really delusional? A motherfucker only gonna call it delusion until it don't work for nobody else to see, but for the whole world to see. And then once the world see it, there's nothing delusional about it. Now your delusion becomes, oh, he was a genius.
And my biggest fear, honestly, was, let's say this. Let's say I don't care if you believe in God or not. I don't care. So this is play a game with me. Let's say you're God, and we have a big fucking long line of people. And I made it to heaven. I'm 75 years old. I'm 300 pounds. I made it to heaven. I worked for Ecolab my entire life, spraying for cockroaches. That's what I did. But I'm dead. I'm in heaven now. And you're judging us all now. And I'm next in line, David Goggins. I see my name and I see all this shit, and God goes, hey, you say, read this, man. And I'm reading this list and I'm seeing 182 pounds, Navy SEAL, Ranger School, motivational speaker, changing lives. Okay, man, pull up record, all this shit. And I'm like, that's not me, man. And God looks at me and says, that's who you were supposed to be.
Like, bro, we ain't complaining about nothing that we're not willing to change, right? If you complain about it, cool, complain. But we're not complaining about nothing that we're not willing to change. So if you state how you feel about it, you got to be willing to do the work and change your thought process, the words, and the way you speak about it, right? You got to be willing to do the work. You can speak about it all day. The easiest thing in the world to do is to complain, blame, and quit and settle. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. But it takes real work to deconstruct and to reconstruct the thought process and the mindset of an individual when they're trying to change something. That's why I always say to people, what's more important, what we acquire or who we become, right? What's more important, what we acquire or who we become? The thoughts we think, the words we speak, that's something that's going to travel with us forever.
I'm going to tell you some advice that nobody asked for, but I'm going to give it. Don't let life stop you from living life. All that you feel, all that you're carrying, all that you've seen, all that you've heard, all that you've been exposed to, all of those experiences, they are all very, very real. You may not be telling people about them, but you're thinking about them, you're carrying it, you're processing, you're triggered by it. It's all still there. Do yourself a favor and make the decision that you're not going to let life stop you from living life.
So if you lack the discipline to exercise and eat healthy, you will end up being a slave to disease. If you lack the discipline to work hard, save your money, you will end up a slave to finances. If you lack the discipline to manage your time correctly, you will end up with no free time. If you have self-discipline, if you have the discipline to save your money and work hard and invest your money properly, if you have the discipline to manage your time correctly and not waste a bunch of time, if you have the discipline to exercise and eat healthy, you will end up with freedom. And I know it's a counterintuitive, it's contrarian, but I've seen this over and over and over again. If you want freedom in your life, you have to have discipline.
I think you become the exception by being the rule.
Why would you not go for it? Why would you not take a chance?
You have to be open-minded to the possibilities that I can do this. Once you shut your mind down to the possibility that it can be achieved, there's no way it can happen.
You and I know what I really am.
I think you can be anything you want to be.
Maybe in your world, Robert, it doesn't really happen that way in mine.
Change your world.
And so whatever reasons that we usually give ourselves in the beginning for why we can't achieve something, you can almost always find not only just someone, but someone who's achieved world-class levels of success with worse conditions than you currently have, which then means it's absolutely possible. And then the only thing that it takes to get there is work.
There's nothing out there for me.
And that's the problem. You hung up your cape and your cow, but you didn't move on. You never went to find a life, to find someone.
Alfred, I did find someone.
I know, and you lost them, but that's all part of living, sir. But you're not living, you're just waiting, hoping for things to go bad again.
There's a payoff for bad eventually. There's a payoff. It can't be bad, but for so long. If you got the strength and the understanding to realize that, it will change. It will change. It's impossible.
It is astounding how many people want to be spectacular in life, but also want to fit in and be normal. Like, by being normal, you are, by definition, aiming for average. Normal people get normal results. Weird people get weird results. You literally can't do what everyone else does and not expect to get what everyone else has. By doing what everyone else does, you guarantee average results.
You will never feel this level of happiness if you don't go for something.
When you pray for rain, you got to deal with the mud too.
What have you learned about how to deal with and overcome fear?
Go. When all that fear that's in your head, all the what ifs and the scenarios that you create inside your own mind that are way worse than anything that is actually going to happen, they all disappear when you go. So just take action and start moving forward.
Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
You see this guy here staring back at you? Yeah? That's your toughest opponent. Every time you get into the ring, that's who you're going against. I believe that in boxing, and I do believe that in life.
There's no losing, only learning. There's no failure, only opportunities. And there's no problems, only solutions. So to me, what failure is the mother of all success. If it wasn't for Michael Jordan getting cut from his 9th grade basketball team, he wouldn't have became Michael Jordan. You know, if it wasn't for Oprah Winfrey and how she got fired because she wasn't good for television. You got people like Walt Disney who got fired, if I'm not mistaken, from a newspaper saying he had no imagination. These are the same people that I got to deal with. Tell me what's not a hit record.
And there's a narrative that we should not criticize ourselves. We should not say the things that we could have done better. But I believe that voice isn't an insecurity. I think it's a version that wants you to chase your potential.
There's no hacks, bro. It's you against you. You against you. And if you misunderstand that, you have a real problem.
I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
That if you want some kind of a good outcome, you're going to have to work hard for it. And if you don't work hard for something, you're not going to get an outcome that's really worth much.
I went 5 straight years without missing a single day of workout, 365 days a year. Every single day I was in the water. There are days you're not going to want to do it. I mean, everybody has those days. But it's what you do on those days that help you move forward.
Winning is in all of us. Everybody wants the end result, but what you have to endure to win, no one wants to talk about.
If you know that you were destined for something, then you can withstand the setbacks, the difficulties, the bulk, the criticism, and all the other things.
You know, everybody can compete when they're feeling good, happy, excited, but it's the best people who can overcome when they're tired, sore. Mental power that the greatest athletes have can push all the pain aside.
The first time I had met Stephen Curry back in 2007, and it was after his freshman year at Davidson, which was before he blew up. No one knew who Stephen Curry was after his freshman year. But I remember there was a few things really remarkable about him. But the most impressive thing was at the end of the first workout, he came over to me and Steph said, "Will you rebound for me? Because I don't leave the gym until I swish 5 free throws in a row." I mean, he was conditioning himself to be in that state. He was conditioning himself to do that, to not accept anything less. And you know, one of the reasons I think he'll go down in history as the best shooter we've ever seen is his ability just to move on to the next shot.
But at the root of it is you want to be the best. You love competing and you want to dominate.
The greatest athletes in the world don't make excuses.
I wanted to do something that nobody had ever done before. And that started with a dream and a goal. I wanted to be the greatest of all time.
And I think I always felt like I wanted to be good at everything I did and be great at what I did. And I never expected to be as good as I was.
No matter what you do in life, where you're at, this is what winning takes. And it's in all of us. We all have fear. But if you harness it, it takes you to places that you couldn't even imagine.
There's mistakes, there's regrets, there's sadness, there's joy, there's frustration, there's sorrow, there's heartbreak, there's elation. It's all part of it. It's all part of life.
You know, I said to myself, I'm going to do this and no one's going to stop me. But I think that's the biggest thing.
In order to win, you have to be seen. Winning is everything. It's everything.
People are champions when they really see themselves with no limits, when they really see themselves great. Because when you see yourself there, you are much more willing to do the work. You are much more willing to break barriers that others don't break because they don't really see themselves breaking those barriers. And this young guy, Djokovic, is 19 years old and he plays Roger for the first time in a Grand Slam. He's nobody. When Novak Djokovic started, Rafa and Roger were winning everything. It's impossible to win a Grand Slam with those two guys. You can't beat them. They're just way better than everyone. And he's interviewed before the match and he says, I'm going to beat this guy. And I remember the press went really bad against him. Who does he think he is? But he was seeing him there. He was seeing himself there. He was seeing himself better than them, which maybe people saw that as being cocky, but he was just very confident about his abilities. And he ended up being the best of the three. He beat all the records. He beat them on every level because his self-belief was extremely high. His self-esteem, the way he was seeing himself. That's how I know if someone is a champion. And a lot of people fake it, which is better than not faking it, but it's not as good as really believing it deeply inside. You talk to the young players, they will say, I want to be number one. I mean, they wish. Yeah. The ones who really want to, you know, because they're not only saying it, but they're putting on the work. And this is a big difference, because when you really believe you can get there, it's much easier. It's never easy to work hard, but in a way, you are willing to do everything to get there. When you wish it, you do things halfway or you don't do it fully. So that's a big difference.
But when you look at the road to winning, people look at you and they're like, you're a success. But your road has so many more steps.